tonight on Focal Point.
When we picked J.G. Devlin, we knew that he was going to be a popular figure because he was something very special. And he was a real, true Belfast actor. And he brought the warmth and the wit of this big city, this amazing city, to his performances.
The atmosphere that the festival generates is absolutely amazing, and it's nice to get people together from all over the world and also the local community as well. So it's a really, really great day out for the family and for anybody else that would like to come along and visit the village.
I think it's very important for young fans to know the history of the place. But the difference we have seen in the changing of the stadium goes way, way back. There was a lot of during the war effort there's a period of the history and even further back, and it's good to know your roots.
The Ulster History Circle has been on the go since the early 1980s, and since that time we put up almost 200 blue plaques here, there and everywhere, across the whole of Northern Ireland, in all the cities, many towns, many villages, and we've also got plaques in 3 counties of the Irish Republic, Donegal, Cavan and Monaghan, the 3 Ulster counties in the south.
J.G. Devlin, Jimmy Devlin, or Mr. Devlin as he allowed me to call him, was the kind of Dumbledore of the acting business when I was growing up.
J.G. Devlin was born in Waterville Street, which is under the shadow of Clonard Monastery. In fact, it's right behind Clonard Monastery, and then his family moved to Oranmore Street. In the 1930s, he started a small drama group called the Oranmore Players, and they went to Dungannon, I think, where he did one of his first plays. But it's really in the 1940s that his career as an actor begins to take off. He's a part of the group theatre, and while there, of course, he comes into contact with Joe Tumilty, of course, who lived in Stockman's Lane, and Joe wrote a radio series for the BBC called The McCooys, so he's a part of that, and that's really a part of the, I suppose, the fabric now of our society. A whole generation was raised on the McCooys.
The McCooys would be a big memory to me, listening to the McCooys. Like, I remember my mum on a Saturday night, it was like watching Coronation Street on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It was just part of our growing up. So it's great memories of Jimmy then.
And then what happens, he goes into film. His first role, I think, is in the film Captain Lightfoot. And then, of course, in Darby O'Gill, where he acted with another Falls Road actor, Albert Sharp, who was Darby O'Gill. So from then, you see him in Dr. Finley's Casebook. You see him in different plays on television. So he has a very varied career.
When we picked J.G. Devlin, we knew that he was going to be a popular figure because the extended Devlin family are here today. Lots of his friends are here today. He was revered by the acting profession. The late John Hewitt, the actor, was a friend of mine, and John always used to say to me that he really enjoyed working with Jimmy, as he would know, Jimmy Devlin. The younger actors like John really revered J.G. Devlin because he was something very special, and he was a real, true Belfast actor, and he brought the warmth and the wit of this big city, this amazing city, to his performances.
He was my father, and I was living with him in Belfast until I left home. He never left Belfast other than for work. He always came back. He was an actor. He let it be known in our house that acting was in his blood, for he was forever quoting from plays or quoting poets, and language was a great joy to him, and he loved to be able to do things like that. When he was in his 60s and 70s, he got the opportunity to do quite a lot of work in the National Theatre in London. And in fact, he was able to do, he had parts in 2 Shakespeare plays, and Shakespeare was his first love. The live theatre in Belfast and in London was, I would think, the joy, because live theatre is quite different from films.
We've so many, unfortunately, passed over actors like Mark Mulholland, John Hewitt, you know, to name just a few of many. It's wonderful to have a plaque like that, and as I say, in such an important building and a very important part of Belfast, Jimmy.
He was a Belfast man, he was a Falls Road man, and he loved this library, and it couldn't be put in a better place. And I mean, a library is a special place anyway for people who love literature and love theatre. So I know he'd be thrilled, and I think the family are thrilled on his behalf.
This building that the plaque is on is associated with him, because when he was a young man, his daughter was telling me, when he was a young man, he would visit this library. He would come here. They didn't have much money, and so there were books in here. There were books, drama, there were plays, Shakespeare, Irish dramatists, and this was like his university almost here, this little library. And you know, look how many people are driving up and down, walking up and down this road today. And out here, right on the front of the road where this plaque is, it's fantastic that it is there for all to see. So that is spreading the word for us, and we like that. We like many people as possible to know about our plaques. And to have a plaque here on Falls Road Library is absolutely excellent as far as we're concerned.
In terms of his name and how he's remembered, and I think it was obvious here today with the crowd that was here for the unveiling that he was held in very high regard, both here in the city and across the island, I would say. But you know, the arts fraternity do sometimes get a rough deal, and I'm very much a supporter of the arts in the city. We're in the middle of Phelan Football Week here in the west of the city, and again a wide range of kind of artistic events taking place. And of course the city benefits greatly in terms of its economy as a result of the contribution that the arts sector make to the city. But in terms of the individuals, you know, it's important to their families that we remember them, particularly in these ways today, but it's also important to his native city that we remember him because he's created history.
Thanks to Libraries Northern Ireland for letting us put the plaque on the building, and thanks also to Belfast City Council for funding the plaque and having the Lord Mayor here today. We're all very grateful to them.
One of Belfast's most renowned festivals is coming up in 2 weeks' time, the Hillsborough Oyster Festival. In the studio with me today are Sarah, Andy and Suzanne, and they're going to talk to us a little more about the festival, what events will be taking place and where you can get some more information on this year's events. Sarah, can you tell us a little about the history of the festival?
Yes, the Hillsborough Oyster Festival is now in its 23rd year, and each year it's getting bigger and bigger with different events that are coming year in, year out.
And why is Hillsborough the chosen location? What makes it so special?
Well, Hillsborough is a beautiful village. It's so picturesque. We get plenty of tourists that come and visit the area. So the festival's ideal to bring the tourists into the area. And of course, we've got Hillsborough Castle there as well, which attracts many, many visitors throughout the year.
And have you seen the festival grow much since its beginnings?
It's grown immensely over the years. We've brought various new events into the festival. This year, importantly for us, we've got a new pop-up restaurant which we've never had before. We've also got featuring the Ulster Youth Orchestra as well, which is a new event which is attracting different types of people to the festival.
And Andy, I believe you own the pop-up restaurant that'll be at this year's Oyster Festival. Can you tell us a little about it?
Yeah, the pop-up restaurant is slightly different from the other events that are on the festival. It's a little bit more or less informal. Also, there's going to be a Fawlty Towers theme to it. So we have actors come over who do Fawlty Towers in London, and I think in the West End. They're going to come over, and then you put the mix in that with all our local chefs.
And have you worked with pop-up restaurants before?
My original pop-up restaurant was Home Restaurant, and it's been trading now for 4 years, but initially that was a standalone pop-up restaurant. Also, I have now a company called Hobo Kitchen, which specialises in popping up in different areas like Newton Ards. We also have a festival happening this weekend in Whitehead, which is a pop-up festival. It's the Food and Folk Festival, and there's going to be a pop-up Moore and Seafood bar. So yeah, I'm used to it, and it's a lot of fun.
And Suzanne, your charity is one of the charities that this year's festival is supporting. Can you tell us a little about your charity?
Yeah, I work for Clubs for Young People, and we work with all the young people and the youth clubs and youth organisations throughout the whole of Northern Ireland. This is actually our 75th anniversary So that's the main reason why we're getting involved in the Oyster Festival and the other activities that we're running this year. So we just help and run different programs, training programs for young people, sports competitions, things like that for other young people. So we want to do something quite big and exciting, so that's where the idea of the Soapbox Derby came from, along with Trust Ford, we're working in partnership with that. So this year we're running the Soapbox Derby, which will happen on Saturday the 5th of September, and we also have Guy Martin coming along to be one of our guest celebrity judges, which will be a great day. So that's how our relationship initially formed, and then it's obviously taken from there in terms of being the charity for the Oyster Festival as a whole. So.
Was it difficult to organise such an event and to have a celebrity guest come to it?
We've had a lot of support, obviously, like I said, from Trust Ford and the Hillsborough Oyster Festival and our little subcommittee. I suppose the prize itself is drawing a lot of entries, and the prize from Trust Ford is a brand new minibus, and also there's cash prizes of £500, so that has helped the process, I think. In terms of everything else, yeah, we've got help with PR and different things, and we're getting it out there, and we have had a lot of interest. The idea is to kind of get young people building the carts, giving them something to do, and then having a final end goal as such to then drive down the massive hill in Hillsborough. So it should be a fun day. And yeah, as far as Guy Martin is concerned, he's really supportive in supporting young people, and in particular obviously with his road racing and his own go-kart and things, being in the world record and trying to get that as well. He's all for it, and we're looking forward to having him on board, and he's doing really well, obviously winning his race and stuff, which helps with him coming along, and Guy has his own followers as well, so that's why we're anticipating quite large spectators as well. So it should be a good day out, and hopefully the young people enjoy that.
And what does the support mean to your charity?
It means a lot. It's not only the money, but it's also getting the name of Clubs for Young People out there. You know, we have been around for 75 years, so we want everybody to know who Clubs for Young People are and the work that we do with the young people. And the money obviously will go towards young people in Northern Ireland and the project and programmes that we run, so it'll hopefully benefit a lot of young people in the area.
And Sarah, what are the biggest changes you've seen the Oyster Festival go through in the past number of years?
Well, when the festival initially started, it was a smaller festival. It's grown bigger and bigger over the years. This year, the festival is from the 1st to the 6th of September, and we've got a golf day. We have the gala ball on the Friday evening. We've also got the big day, which is on the Saturday, where we've got various events taking place throughout Hillsborough. We've got the World Oyster Eating Championships, where we have people coming across from America to compete against Colin Shirlow and hopefully break his world record of eating 233 oysters in 3 minutes.
Oh wow.
So.
And Andy, have you had your pop-up restaurant at this festival before, or is this the first time?
This will be the first time for the pop-up restaurant. Last year and also this year I'll be doing the oysters on the Saturday. Which is amazing, because our local oysters are the envy of the world, you know. So Irish oysters are realistically probably the best oysters you're going to eat. So it sort of ties in with the festival. But last year I had the opportunity and did the oyster stand at the festival, and it was absolutely amazing. I mean, it was crazy. You had people who had never eaten oysters before and they were coming up, and you had people who were oyster connoisseurs. But I think about 3,000 oysters were served and we almost ran out. So this year I'm going to bring between 5,000 and 6,000 oysters. I'm going to actually bring our oyster farmer there who can tell people where they come from. They're all going to be from Dundrum, and they can tell them all about the oysters, how they're harvested, how they're grown. And so we're going to have a lot more energy in their oyster stand this year.
And do you think the Hillsborough Oyster Festival supports local suppliers and local wholesalers?
Well, we're blessed. I mean, especially in Down itself, you know, we have great seafood, because I deal with it every single day, but not only the vegetables as well. I know Danny Miller's going to be doing Finnebrook venison, and I'm going to be doing some local fish. So especially in that pop-up night, a huge emphasis on our local produce. I mean, everybody from Drew Fraser, organic vegetable farmer, until the local fishermen. So all that'll be showcased, it'll be all talked about on the night, and hopefully it won't be too much, it'll just be more fun than anything else.
And Sarah, what do you think the biggest attractions are this year?
Well, this year we've got the Soapbox Derby, as Suzanne's already mentioned there, but we've got a lot of events taking place throughout the Saturday. As Andy's already mentioned, we've invited local traders to take part, and it's also great for the local community to bring everybody together. And also, it's really nice that we can get local charities on board as well as clubs for young people. We're also helping to raise funds for the Hillsborough Village Centre, and it's great that charities can actually use the Oyster Festival as a vehicle to raise money for their charities.
And Andy, we've talked about the delightful cuisine that's going to be available at this year's festival, and food festivals are a huge thing across the globe. How do you think Belfast compares in terms of food festivals to other countries?
Well, I was lucky enough I think it was 3 years ago, I was invited and paid to go over to Nova Scotia and cook. And I was in a place called Sydney and I had a festival on there, and you're talking about somewhere it's totally isolated, the very tip of Nova Scotia, in a place called Cape Breton, and the amount of energy and for bringing people over, but also there's only like 5,000 people live in this little town. But compared to what we have here, you know, we have loads going on. We have loads of stuff going on in Belfast, but also not only in Belfast, but also in the likes of Hillsborough, Whitehead. The Open House Festival now is in Bangor this year, which I'll be doing a pop-up at the end of that as well. At the end of the Open House Festival in Bangor and the old auction rooms in Bangor. So, I mean, we have loads of stuff going on, you know, Belsonic, just every single summer it seems to be more and more and more on. But generally the first weekend in September is always dedicated to the Hillsborough Oyster Fest, and it is just everybody puts it in their calendar, and that's the way it is.
And why do you think it attracts people from across the globe?
Because Hillsborough is such a beautiful village. It's unique with the castle, and the atmosphere that the festival generates is absolutely amazing, and it's nice to get people together from all over the world and also the local community as well. So it's a really, really great day out for the family and for anybody else that would like to come along and visit the village.
And how can people find out more information?
We have a festival, a website, so you can find us on there. We're also on Facebook as well. So there's lots of things out there on the social media. We're selling tickets for events in the local tourist information centres in Lisbon and in Hillsborough. Also, we've got the 3 local bars that are selling tickets on the Saturday evenings for the Flash Harry concert, and that's the Hillside, the Plough and the Parson's Nose. So there's plenty of opportunities out there to get tickets, and you can buy tickets online also.
And Sarah, Hillsborough is located a little outside the city centre, which might mean that it could be difficult for people to get to. Are there any facilities available to aid this? Yes, we do. Due to the high numbers expected to the event on the Saturday, there will be a park and ride facility available from the Balmoral Showground, which is on the Hilltown Road just outside Hillsborough. So there is a park and ride available from 11 o'clock in the morning, and the last bus back will be at 7 o'clock in the evening. And is this an open festival, or is it something that people should book tickets for in advance? It is an open festival, yes, but it's also advised that people do book tickets in advance if they would do so, because it'll save time on the day of events, so people will be able to get in quicker. Thank you, and thank you all very much for coming in and talking to us about this year's festival.
Thanks a million.
Thank you.
There you have it. That's all the information you need for this year's Hillsborough Oyster Festival. If there's anything else you'd like to know, or if you'd like to buy tickets for this year's festival, please go to the website below.
The idea behind the merged images is an ongoing project we have. We have literally thousands of old photographs of life in the north, in Ulster. And what we've been trying to do is take photographs from bygone days and merge them with contemporary shots shot in the same location. We've been doing this, as I say, with a lot of landmarks around, but we came across these photographs of baseball and American football being played at the Kingspan. So I thought it would be a nice idea to try and merge old matches in the 1940s with contemporary games just from last season. We decided what images we had. Well, that was really decided for us. We don't have too many photographs of the matches that were played here, but what we were able to do was to get a pass in during a game, and I was able to take photographs from round about the same position as the original photographs were taken. Took quite a number of those, and then try to see could we any way we could mix the two of them together to show the difference over the years. I think it's very important for young fans to know the history of the place. Like all sports, you can pick a team, but you can feel part of a community here. As I say, I remember coming as a young man, being brought along, young lad, to support the team. But the difference we have seen in the changing of the stadium, the changing of the team, the changing of the format has been grand. But I think young ones need to see that this stadium goes way, way back. There was a lot of, during the war effort there's a period of the history and even further back. And it's good to know your roots. What I found very interesting was that there were over 40,000 US servicemen stationed in Northern Ireland. And they had decided at one point to arrange an American football match in 1942, the proceeds of which went to the Royal Victoria Hospital and to the airmen and the servicemen. It proved very popular. The two infantry teams made up a team. Everybody came along to watch that. But then, with there being that many US servicemen here, and from 1943 they decided to form a 12-team league to play baseball. And it started early 1943, and the photograph that you'll see there is from later on that year, I think it was August that time, where we had quite a lot of people coming to the Kingspan Stadium, or Ravenhill as it was back then. They picked a team, didn't know that much about baseball. The programmes back then just explained the rules and you could keep your own score. But people then began to get interested. There's one account maybe of about 8,000 people turning up to watch one of the baseball matches. And they sort of followed that, picked a team as I said, and watched the Americans enjoy themselves. The Kingspan Stadium now is totally different to what maybe I can remember coming as a young lad. The transformation has been immense. I think everybody will agree with that there. But what I did find interesting was I can remember coming as a young lad, and my memories of the ground are very much the photographs that we have from the 1940s. So for quite a while the old Ravenhill grounds hadn't changed that much. There's no Craigie estate in some of those ones, but there was the old terrace and the old wee box there, I think, where Jim Neely was probably still commentating on the American football games. But that has changed very much in the last few years. If you were just starting to support Ulster or coming as a youngster, you wouldn't know the history or know how much the ground has actually changed in that period. Well, now, just recently, we have had many sports in Ravenhill over the years. We've seen GAA being played here, rugby obviously, and then going back now we have a history of baseball and an American football match. As a season ticket holder, this was a great job for me, a total labour of love, because it was something that I was interested in doing photographically, and it was also my hobby, because for years I've been coming down to support Ulster. But seeing the history there, seeing that we could actually introduce back to the community this quite an established period of time where people played baseball and American football here, I thought it was interesting, because most of my friends that I know and old people that have been coming since previous generations, a bit older like that, we didn't know anything about this history. Didn't know baseball was played here on a regular basis, or the American football game. So I find the history of that very interesting. And then, as you see now with the new stadium, just showing what has happened here over the years. As a rugby fan, I thought that was very enjoyable for me to get involved in. So when I first saw these photographs, I was stunned to see there was other sports, American football and baseball, played here. Then we got interested looking at the history of it. And I think any rugby fan will be quite interested to see what went on here in the 40s. But also we'll be hoping that people would be able to fill us in maybe with some information if they were at these games, or their parents or grandparents were at these games, and hopefully maybe have a look in the attic. You might have old glass plates, old photographs yourselves of sporting events or around the country there. By all means, if we're able to see these, we could help to preserve them, clean them up a bit, and use them for the public to see and fill in part of their social history as well.
And now, tomorrow's weather.